Right?
I have live.
So do I.
Oh my gosh!
Yay! We might actually figure something out here.
we might
God
be
bless America.
we might make this work. I don't know. We're weird, but our viewers know that, so it's fine. That's nothing new. Hi, how is everybody tonight? You can't answer me.
I'm doing crazy awesome. I don't know about you.
I actually have had a crazy awesome day myself. It's been pretty cool. My weekend is going to be cool. And, okay, so I'm going to embarrass my husband right now because he's not here and I can totes do it. So if you know me, you probably know my husband because we're, like, inseparable. It's pathetic. And my wonderful, sexy, beautiful, amazing, caring, intelligent, loving, adoring, beautiful husband. Dude, he turns 40 on Sunday.
Aww.
I can't wait. And you know how we're celebrating? Because
can you
40,
say it on air? Will it be censored by the FCC?
You know it might be, but not in the way you think. We're going to go see Dada Life at Hakkasan nightclub Sunday night. And if you don't know who Dada Life is, then I feel sorry for you because they're ridiculously awesome. And when they play a small venue, they're even more awesome. So I'm crazy excited. Because when you're 40, you should go to an EDM concert. That's what you should do.
Sure. So why not?
We're going to get there at like 10 p.m., which means we won't leave till like, I don't know, 3 a.m., something like that. Kids have school. They have to be up by 6. Sorry. Can you say zombie mom? Anyway, moving on. But that's not what we're talking about tonight.
No! Stuff happened this week. Like, weird stuff and political stuff and race stuff and, you know, stuff that makes your head just go, what?
It hurt. It hurt. It hurt the head. It hurt the heart. And mostly it hurt logic.
Yeah, you know, I'm starting to miss that logic. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't have a lot of use for it. As an adult, I kind of like it.
It's kind of a big deal as an adult to have logic. And what's interesting is that most of the things that we're going to talk about tonight do not stem from adults. And I say that in the nicest way possible. It stems...
adults in the fact that biologically they're over 18.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Their attitudes and thought processes are not adult-like.
No. Because, see, when you're an adult, you don't worry about such things as these people are worrying about. What are we talking about? We are talking about race. Because it's all about the race.
It's all about race, and race.
Because apparently we cannot talk about anything else. Because evidently we're still stuck in like the 1800s or something. So
I don't even think they talked about it that much back then, to tell you honest truth.
You know what? Probably not. Not as much as we are right now. Because we all have to be touchy-feely and hug each other and kumbaya. It's ridiculous.
I was watching Red Eye. I'll go with this morning. I think it was this morning I was watching Red Eye. Sherrod Small was hosting, so probably this morning. And he talked about the whole Starbucks race together. It was a topic. And one of the guests, his name is Rob Long. He wrote for Cheers. He is also one of the co-founders of Ricochet.com. But they're talking about this, you know, the Starbucks thing, and the CEO is like, I just want to start a conversation about race. What have we been talking about for like the last 6 years? I swear to God, 2008, that's all we talk about. I have not talked about race this much since the mid-90s. And even then, it was easier to talk about.
Right. Well, here's the thing. Now, I love me some Starbucks because the basic white girl in me just gets all giddy when there's a Starbucks around. I get more giddy when there's a Caribou Coffee around, which, like, there's none here, which makes me sad. But Starbucks. Okay, I go to Starbucks knowing that it is the trendy, like, what do I want to say? The young people's hangout place. I get that. I understand. Here's what I don't go to Starbucks for. I do not go to Starbucks for a political conversation. I do not go to Starbucks to start a conversation about race with a barista who is handing me my coffee. I go to Starbucks because they have wicked frappuccinos. The Java chip, oh my goodness. Yes, so I don't even care how many calories are in it. Just give it to me. Take my money. I love it. I go there for delicious treats. I treat myself to Starbucks because Starbucks is freaking expensive. My husband calls it $6 because every time we go, it's $6. Easy. So I go for delicious treats. My political discourse I have amongst my friends and some enemies. I read a lot. I talk a lot. I write a lot. I do a lot of things. So when I go to Starbucks, that's like my safe place to fall. You know, Dr. Phil talks about your soft place to fall. Starbucks is my soft place to fall. I just get to go in there and sit in a comfy chair and drink my coffee and read my book and be happy. Or write and be happy. Whatever I'm doing there. Or I go through the drive-thru because the drive-thru is amazing. And I don't want to talk to the barista about race relations. I just want my damn coffee. Give it to me. I paid you. Don't hold my coffee hostage with race together. Damn you, Starbucks. And now I'm going to drink wine. You go, Sparkles, because I'm done with this.
Yeah, I don't drink Starbucks because I live in Michigan and we have this really great coffee company called Big B's.
Ooh.
And their coffee isn't bitter. And I don't know, I just like them a lot more. It's just my thing. So, yeah. I just think it's funny that this is how a marketing tool for them. I don't know. Every time it seems like the CEO makes a political move anywhere, it just totally backfires, and it's just have a company offer people coffee. Quit trying to interject everything in there. People just want their damn coffee. Give it to them.
That's all we want. We don't care. We excuse me. I'm getting
smile at us. Just give us the coffee.
We just want coffee. And the thing is I don't go to Starbucks that much. I maybe go once every couple weeks. That's like the most I'll go because A, it's expensive. B, I just don't have time. I don't have time to go to Starbucks. I can brew an entire pot of really good coffee in my own house for pennies on the dollar for what I would get at Starbucks. Now, what I do is when my husband gets paid is I load $20 onto my Starbucks card. This way, if I am out and about, because I am the chauffeur, like my license plate should say chauffeur, when I'm out and about, it's nice to know that, oh, hey, I've got $20 on my Starbucks card. I can go get myself a Frappuccino, which I can enjoy while lacrosse practice is going on, while gymnastics practice is going on, while choir practice is going on. I can do that. It's nice. It's nice to know. And I can treat my friends every so often, which is really nice. I like to be able to do that. And I get rewards because of it, which is awesome. Like right now, I can go in, and if I go to Starbucks, I can get their plain coffee, and I can get free refills all the time, which is awesome if I stay in the store. Very cool. But if I have to talk to the frickin' barista about race relations, I'm done. I'm done. You won't. No. No. Because first you told me, bring your gun into my store, and then you were like, no, no guns. Make up your damn mind. So I can have a gun, I can't have a gun. Now I need to talk about race relations, and all I want is a damn scone and coffee. That's it. That's what I want. And I can make those at home. And nobody tries to engage me in race relations with a hashtag race together, because we're the hashtag nation. Everything will be solved with a hashtag.
Yeah, because see how well it's working for the State Department?
Sorry. Okay, that was a little bit of an evil laugh, but it's kind of funny. Hey, my husband just sent me.
Huh?
Okay, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I have to laugh because my husband sends me like articles all the time. The headline on this one is the Pentagon lost $500 million worth of military equipment to Al Qaeda in Yemen.
Yeah, it's not like we could afford to put trackers on those or anything, you know, because it's only $500 million worth of stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's like a drop in the cup, right?
That's only 2 Starbucks coffees.
Pretty much. But yeah, so that's my little non sequitur. Go ahead, look that up, because my husband just sent it to me, and I just like my head exploded when I read that. So moving on. I think I'm done with talking about baristas telling me what I should think about race.
Let's go to the next thing that kind of just made people's head just explode this week. That our dear leader, Obama, would like to have mandatory voting in the U.S. That is wrong on so many levels. Now, my first thought was, when I first heard it, was mandatory voting. Now, I vote in my state and federal elections.
Mm-hmm.
The ones I don't vote in is the school board and millage. Mainly because I do not own property, so the millage doesn't affect me at all. Nor do I have children in school, so the school board does not affect me at all. So at this point, I somewhat pay attention, but not that closely because it doesn't directly affect me.
Right.
Now, I did write a piece about it at Real Raw yesterday, and I did ask the question, when you say mandatory voting, is it just for federal level voting, like president and senators and congressmen, or is it going to be for everything? Every proposal that your state puts through, everything that your city wants, all the way down the line, or is it just for the federal? Because they want everybody to vote.
And that is an excellent question. I hadn't actually thought about that. I just figured mandatory voting meant mandatory voting. If there's a voting, you go. Or what are they going to do to you if you don't vote? Like, if you have pneumonia and you're in the hospital.
Right. I posed that also because the questions that I rose is because I brought up what is mandatory in life. What do you have to do in order to survive? To me, that's mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get away from that. But in the last decade, it is now mandatory for me to have health insurance. If I do not have health insurance, I need to pay the IRS $325, or I think like 10% or something of what I make a year, whichever is greater.
Yeah.
And now they want to have mandatory voting, and I brought up what's going to be the punishment, and is it going to fit this so-called crime of not voting? Is it going to
what
be?
is the crime for not voting? I don't understand. Like, so you choose not to have your voice heard. Okay, so I have a girlfriend who told me a while ago. She said, I just don't vote. And I said, why don't you vote? Because I actually think it's kind of important to vote. So you think I'd be on the bandwagon for the mandatory voting, but I'm not, and I'll explain why, and this story tells you why. So I asked her, why don't you vote? And she goes, I just don't care. I don't pay attention enough, and I don't think that it's wise for me to go and cast a vote when I don't know anything about the candidates, I don't know where they stand, and I don't know anything about their platforms. So why should I have a say in it if I'm not paying attention? Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. She willfully does not pay attention. Great. That's fine. I actually think you should pay attention, but she at least acknowledges the fact that she doesn't pay attention and voluntarily says, I am not going to cast a vote because I am not knowledgeable enough to cast that vote. Now, if you invoke mandatory voting, you're going to require her to vote. She does not know a thing. Not a thing. She has 4 kids with another on the way. This girl doesn't have time to pay attention. She homeschools them. She takes care of them. This woman is like Superwoman. I absolutely love her. I think she's amazing. But her priority is not in politics. So she abstains from voting. Now you're going to make her vote, and you're going to make her make a decision on something that she's not well informed on. So what's the next step? You're going to make people be well informed? No, of course not, because you want the uninformed voter to vote. Because most uninformed voters, all they hear is a name. They keep hearing the name over and over and over and over and over again, and then when they get to the polls, they're like, oh, I've heard that name. Click. That's how it works. And I'm not okay with mandatory voting. I'm okay with programs like Get Out the Vote, Rock the Vote. I'm very okay with these programs because it gets people interested in coming out and being part of the political process. But if you're going to force somebody to cast a vote who's ill-informed, you're rigging the system, and I don't like that.
Right. That was one of the points that was brought up on Red Eye last night, too. Go figure. Sherrod made some excellent points last night.
Sherrod did? What?
I know, right? Who knew a comedian could actually be smart? He brought up, I don't know if you remember in the last, I don't know if it was the midterms or if it was 2012's presidential election. There, probably the last midterms, because people were complaining the lines are too long and people can't get in to vote. And that's just with voluntary voting. Could you imagine mandatory voting? We're going to have like Russia-style red lines, for voting.
It'll be ridiculous. And okay, so you have mandatory voting. Do you keep the early voting? Do you keep the voting by proxy? Do you keep the absentee ballots? Are these all options that you keep? Because if they are, okay. Oh, in Oregon? Oh my god. In Oregon, they're basically doing the required voting. But here's how they're doing it. You're gonna love this. They're mailing it out to everybody and requiring everybody to have a say. Because there won't be any voter fraud with that.
No. No. I don't see anything going wrong with it at all. I brought up my point yesterday was we still have thousands of dead people voting. Possibly not the way that they voted while they were alive, but they're still voting.
Mm.
Now with mandatory voting, the roll sheet is going to show that 100% of the people voted, possibly a little more of 100% because that's happened before. But without like voter ID laws, where people have to show, hey, this is actually me. How are we going to know that John Doe over here didn't, take, John Q. Public's ballot and vote twice because he knew John Q. Public wasn't going to show up that day?
Wait, so are you saying that I should go to different precincts and vote as different people?
Without voter ID laws, I mean, we have to, if it's going to be mandatory that everybody votes, then, well, how do you know that because so-and-so didn't show up, you don't know that they're who they say they are, and we have to have everybody vote. I mean, even the people that are on the, what do you call it, the election committee, you don't know that they're not taking ballots and, filling them out. I mean,
in Wisconsin, there were people caught going through cemeteries and writing down names, and yeah, it was a big deal. It was during the recall for Scott Walker.
Wow.
Yep.
Those people that don't like him are vicious.
They really don't like him.
Wow.
Excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm getting over something.
That's right, because I had it last time. Last time I was on cough syrup, so this time I'm more clear-headed.
I'm on.
No, those are just like some of the things I was thinking about, was like this whole mandatory voting. I mean, number one, I live in America. I was supposed to have freedom and liberty, and the government wasn't supposed to make me do anything. I mean, we had guidelines like, hey, don't kill your neighbor and don't steal its stuff. You might want to cough or something for that to show up.
America.
There you go.
America. I love America. There we go.
But for the government to tell me I have to do something, or I'm going to be penalized, I can't say it sounds like a dictatorship, because a dictatorship is where one person rules overall. But it sounds very much like an oligarchy, which is a really neat word that I'm learning more and more about, which is you have a political class that rules over everybody, and nobody can break into the political class. And I don't know if you understand what a political class is, but if you look at D.C., that's what you get. Because you have the people that have been there for over 20 years. Some of them, there's been people that have been in this, like, Congress for almost 60 years.
I'm all about term limits.
Yes. There's no reason for them to, to be in there that long. I reposted a meme yesterday on Facebook that said that we should pay Congress $35,000 a year. They shouldn't have any benefits. They should live like an average citizen does.
Oh, and I say barracks for them. Forget these cushy apartments that they have. Put them in the barracks. I'm sure that there are buildings that are available at the Navy Yard or something that they could live in.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I mean,
they could live in their offices. Screw that. Some of the representatives and senators live in their offices.
Right, and that's the thing. They should. There is no reason for them to make as much as they do. There's no. Because if they truly want to represent the American citizen, then they should start living how the American citizen does. And that does not include private jets, because I'm just going to throw out a wild statistic. I'm going to say a little over 99% of Americans don't have an access to a private plane. I know that might seem a little high, but I think it's pretty well accurate. nor do most Americans can they afford to have two addresses.
Oh,
They
but
don't have.
oh, for crying in the rain. Harry Reid just sued Henderson to palatial estate. And I can hear myself. Damn it.
Uh-oh.
I know. It sucks. But anyway.
Technical problems.
Technical difficulties. Get over it, people. But anyway. So he moves
I don't like looking for my earphones.
Estate in Henderson, Nevada, of which I believe he fell down the stairs.
No, it was an accident, remember? Accident.
Right, accident. So then, but he lives at the Four Seasons in D.C. He has an apartment, a suite at the Four Seasons. That's what he lives in. Is it the Four Seasons? It's something hoity-toity, and I want to say Four Seasons, but anyway, might be the Ritz-Carlton.
I want to say Watergate, just because.
No, he does not live at Watergate. I know that for sure. But I'm curious, how did you make your money, Senator Reid? How? Because you didn't really make it through real estate deals. You didn't do enough to make that much money off of real estate. And you've been in Congress for an awfully long time. So I'm wondering, which K Street organizations have been funding your lavish lifestyle?
I know which ones it wasn't.
Which ones?
I am 99.9% sure it was not the Koch brothers. I'm throwing it out there. I mean, there's that 0.01% that could be just because it's that reverse stuff.
No, actually, they did show. I have to find the article.
Oh yeah, they did a little bit.
But he has been funded by the Koch Industries. To some extent. Not a lot, but to some extent. Which I find hysterical since he has Koch Tourette's. But we're getting off track a little bit here because I could talk about Harry Reid all the live long day because he's supposedly my senator, and no, screw that. No, he's not. No, I did not vote for the man. I will not vote for the man. I think that he should retire, and I would like to take his place, but I don't want that much scrutiny. So, moving on. What is our next race topic? Because
the next race topic has to do with voting. Go figure. Go figure. I don't know if you ever watch ESPN. Mm-hmm. There's a sports analyst on there. His name is Stephen A. Smith. Mm-hmm. He was giving a speech at Vanderbilt University, and I only heard like the first part on Twitchy, and then I read like the rest of it, and it made way more sense. But the part that everybody like went after him for is that he says, just for one election, I want every black American to vote Republican. Oh my God, they got put out on Twitter. The names he got called will always astound me because this is going to be my rabbit trail. Yeah. If you really want to stop black on black crime and all this black hating on blacks, quit calling each other Uncle Toms and house Negroes. Start learning to respect each other. As much as I hate some of the people that I live around, I don't openly call them trailer trash, white trash, that kind of stuff on social media. I might call a certain person but it's not on social media for everybody to read. It will be to their face. I don't like the whole generalization. Oh, you're a black conservative, therefore you're an Uncle Tom. Shut up! Read the book sometime and really learn what it's about, dummy. Okay, So that's my rabbit trail. Okay, but then then you listen to the rest of his speech and you understand why he said it, and he's correct. Since 1964, the Republicans have not received more than 15% of the Black American vote.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that telling the two-party system that we have? Would I like to see more parties? Yeah. But it's telling the Republicans, no matter what we do, I know a lot of I've heard a lot of people say, you need to do outreach, you need to do outreach, you need to do outreach. Yeah, the GOP sucks at outreach. But on the other hand, when people have tried to do outreach, death threats came their way. Regular, just harassment came their way, and it makes. Why do I want to start with you when every time I try? Because I'll give people like a few chances, but if every chance I try to start a dialogue with you, you throw up a wall and want to start calling me names, I'm gonna stop.
Oh yeah.
And
well, I mean, even with my friends. Yeah. Well, when I switched from being liberal to conservative, oh my lord, my black friends. I mean, I became basically Satan to them. It was the weirdest thing. I actually just had a friend, and you were part of the conversation, so you saw, and I think I talked about it a little bit last time. Started the conversation with, you women and your white privilege.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. If you want to have a conversation about race relations in the United States, I'm all for it. Come at me. Let me talk to you. I will be glad to talk to you because I have some background in it. I've got mixed race brothers. I lived in Jamaica for a year. I kind of know what it's like to be a minority. I have a myriad of friends, and I would love to talk to you about it.
Right.
But when you start the conversation with you and your white privilege, you pretty much have already told me that you're not going to listen to anything that I say. So why should I try?
Right. And that's what Stephen Smith was saying, because he said for 50 years you've told the Republican Party, no matter what you do, you're never going to get our vote. And he told the Democratic Party, you could do whatever you want, you're going to get our vote no matter what. So why would they bother helping you in any way if they already know what's the outcome is going to be? Right. Because a lot of things that have happened, I've heard that they're more pandering to the Latino vote. Well, yeah, why? Because the Latino vote, more Latinos are open to hearing both sides. Mm-hmm. Because they haven't had it ingrained with them that Republicans are bad for you and they hate you, and Democrats are going to help you with everything. It hasn't been as ingrained as it has in the black community, from what I hear. Because
yeah. Well, and also, here's the thing about the Latino community. A lot of them are coming from countries that are from communist regimes or very dictatorship regimes. So they're really open to hearing about how you have freedom, you have the ability to make a life here, you can build yourself up, you don't have to stay in the low class, you can get an education, you can build a business, you can do all these wonderful things. And coming from a country where they've been told, nope, you're at your level, that's where you're going to be, you're never going to rise above that, to come to this country and be told, oh, hey, come over here, let us teach you how you can build yourself up and do better. I mean, for crying out loud, when we first moved here to Las Vegas, one of the things that I knew we were going to have trouble with was illegal immigrants, because we are very close to the border. We are a very friendly city to that. In fact, so friendly that we've offered driver's license to them recently. But anyway, moving on. One of the things that the news stations did here was they profiled people who had gone through the legal system, had become American citizens, and how their life had changed. It was a really interesting expose that they did on all these people, but it was so cool to hear all of them. And every single one of them said, the first thing you need to do when you come to America is learn to speak English, trust people, and work hard. Those are the 3 pieces of advice. That's amazing. And I guarantee you, if I went back and followed up with all of those people, they've all voted on the conservative side for the most part. Maybe not 100%, but for the most part.
Oh, yeah. Because I don't have a lot of Latino immigrants in my region. I have a lot of Asians, mainly Vietnamese. I mean, I have some Korean and some, Laos and some Chinese, but it's mainly Vietnamese people. Someday I'm going to learn more of the language, except for the one word that they taught me, which will never help me anywhere. But when you talk to them, and especially the older ones that got out during the Vietnam War and knew what it was like, and you listen to them and what it's like to be in America, and and some of them, I talked to some of them that finally became American citizens. I asked them if they vote, and they said no, because they've never had that chance, and they don't know how. So that's something that we need to start working on as personal citizens. When you know somebody that's just became a citizen, or has never voted before, talk to them about it, teach them what to do. Don't tell them how to vote, because it ain't none of your business. But just, I mean, the only way you can show them how to vote is like, where I live, we used to have to draw a line. Now we just fill in a circle. Some places you got to pull the little lever. Tell them that kind of how to vote. Don't tell them who to vote for. But kind of, help them out. Because that's to me, that's the whole thing of being an American. Is I have my voice be heard. Is it being heard? Not as much as I want it to be, mainly because of the state of how political class is running.
Right.
Because apparently I don't have enough money or a big enough company for them to listen to me. All I have is a voice, and it's just not big enough. Mine is just a nuisance that I can get thrown into jail. That's about it.
Well, I mean, if you get thrown into jail here, we'll make sure you get an extra blanket and pillow. You'll be comfortable.
Yes. I'm so going to get arrested in Vegas, man.
You should. My husband will take good care of you.
All right.
Or Mac, if you're watching, first of all, feel better. I'll tell you about that later. Feel better, heal well. But also take care of my friend Jenny here. Sparkle's here. Take care of her, because she's awesome. I don't think she'll get arrested here, but if she does, you know what to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But back to the whole Stephen A. Smith thing, and I agree with it. If all the Black Americans, if Republicans got 100% of the black vote, even if they just got 50%, not even all of it, just half of it, if all the black people went out and voted that day, the ones that can vote, and voted Republican, that would send such fear into Democrats' hearts. They won't know what to do. They will be stunned, because they'll be like, oh my God, we were promised by LBJ that they would be voting this way for the next 200 years. It is now backfired. By the way, if you're watching this and you happen to be black and you think that we're dumb and whatever, go look out LBJ and what he said about y'all and how you're going to vote, because he used a word I don't like using. And I'll give you a little hint. It starts with the letter N.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we might end this with, Sesame Street type things brought to you by the letter N.
Yeah.
LBJ, that was the interesting thing about Stephen Smith's comments, was he was really concise about Lyndon B. Johnson. And he said something really profound, which was, look, he was a Democratic president, but there was a Republican Congress that pushed the civil rights agenda to his desk and made him sign it. He didn't have a choice.
Oh, back when Republicans still had, I'm trying to think of the good word to use here.
Had a spine. Had a
Had a spine. We'll go with that. Chutzpah. That's another word I was thinking of. Chutzpah.
There you go. Chutzpah. But that's the thing, is that they forced it onto his desk. He was forced to sign it. And now history has been a little bit rewritten to say, well, the Democrats were all behind the civil rights movement. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You need to check your historical documents, because the people that were behind the civil rights movement were actually all Republican.
I was going to say, here's 3 legislators to look up if you think we're lying. Robert Byrd, Strom Thurmond, Al Gore Sr. That's just off the top of my head, people. Just top of my head.
More currently, I would strongly recommend, I believe his name is David Duke. I would strongly recommend looking him up. That's more recent history.
Right.
But the thing is, historically speaking, the Republican movement is what pushed forward the civil rights movement. And unfortunately, history has been rewritten so that many people in the black community are being duped into believing that the Democratic side of things is what pushed through the civil rights movement. Right. Yes, a Democratic president signed it into law, but he was coerced into doing that by a Republican Congress. Check your history. I'm not wrong about this. I really am not wrong about this.
No. Ooh.
And if I am, oh my God, bring me context and show me how I'm wrong, because I know that I am right.
Ooh, real quick history recap. Before 1960 or the 1950s, I believe, there was no Republican Party. It was born out of the Whig Party. What was the name of the other party that converged to the Whig Party? He had to do something with, what in my head was like farming or something. I'll think of the name like later. But they became the Republican Party, and their whole thing was they were for freedom and ending of slavery. So that's how Lincoln got to where he was. Because if you really look into history, you'll find out that a lot of the presidents, even before that, that everybody's sitting there going, no, they owned slaves and they hated blacks. If you look, they didn't like slavery either. They just didn't have the chutzpah to end it the way, they did in 1863. Anyways,
well, okay, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but this is important. There are two presidents that people like to dog on the most. Number one is George Washington, because he owned slaves. Let me give you a little history lesson on that. Yes, he had slaves. Do you know why he had slaves? Let's see. Because they were willed to him by his parents. And he basically gave them free rein, and at his death, they were free to go wherever they wanted. But because they were willed to him, there was nothing he could do. You might want to check your history books on that one. I'm pretty sure I'm right. The second president that they get all up in arms about is Thomas Jefferson. Now, I am just going to say I'm totally biased about Thomas Jefferson because I absolutely adore him, and I think he's wonderful and brilliant and charming, and the more I learn about him, the more I fall in love with him and would like the doctor to take me in his TARDIS back to the time where I could meet Thomas Jefferson and marry him. But I digress. Yes, he had slaves. Did he treat them cruelly? It doesn't appear that he did. He actually appears that he treated them quite well. Now, here's a funny little side note. There is a petition going forward to remove Thomas Jefferson from our money and replace him with, wait for it, Sanger.
No, I will not allow that one to happen because look up your history on Sanger and how she liked black people.
Eugenics much?
Right.
There is a reason why Planned Parenthood started, and it was not because we wanted to protect women's health. Planned Parenthood was started to eradicate the black race. Margaret Sanger is a horrible human being. Horrible. You need to look her up.
Exactly.
She is evil personified. And the fact that anybody wants to put her on our money is just horrifying. And the fact that they want to replace Thomas Jefferson for her? We need to revisit history. We really need to revisit it. But that's...
Speaking of revisiting history...
yes, ma'am. I know we're running out of time, and we have a couple other stories that are really, really good.
No, but going down the same kind of consciousness, revisiting history, talking about race relations because why not? We're white, that's what we do. Yeah. Apparently, because we're basic white girls. But the Army has always been kind of integrated. If you could fight, they allowed you to fight. There wasn't, there wasn't a lot of segregation. There wasn't some parts, but it wasn't like a steadfast rule.
Yeah.
Just because of how it was set up. So after, the 1860s, it was pretty much integrated. No one had a problem with it up until, get this, till about 1913, around there.
What?
When this guy named Woodrow Wilson got into power, guess what he did? he segregated the Army. Now,
he did, because he's evil and must be destroyed.
And guess what he was?
Black.
No! Because he really hated them. He was a rich white person who was a dean of a university, an Ivy League university, so he was an intellectual. But he was also a Democrat.
What?
Now, to make it even better, because we're going to throw another thing at him on top of the whole racism, he was also very sexist.
No way.
Because about the same time, the suffragettes were trying to get, the women's right to vote, to get passed, because we need our voices heard also. And do you know what he did to them? He threw them into jail. Had them sleep deprived. If he fed them, they were fed rancid food. They were tortured and kicked and beaten and all that kind of stuff just because they wanted to vote. Just want to throw that little history lesson in there.
So what you're saying is that Woodrow Wilson, I can talk, is the epitome of gentleman behavior.
Oh, yeah. Because he treats everybody just so lovely. Because, he loved everybody who wasn't rich and white.
Hey, you know who else hates white people?
Who?
Azealia Banks.
That name sounds familiar, but I'm going to tell you, not real familiar with her. The only, I heard that she tweets stuff every once in a while,
She does.
but I don't really know.
Okay, so she's kind of a hateful person,
Okay.
but only to white people, because she's black and she's a rapper, and I actually don't think I know any of her music. And
Oh,
really,
okay.
the first I had heard of her was because of this brouhaha that was going on recently. Okay, so this charming young lady decided to do an interview for Playboy. In fact, she did more than just an interview for Playboy. I believe she did some pictures for them. And I'm pretty sure our viewers are familiar with Playboy, but if you're not, it's where tasteful pictures are taken of naked women washing cars and looking over their shoulders. They also do interviews, and they interviewed Miss Banks. Miss Banks decided, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the quotes up in front of me, and frankly, I don't really care. Said something about how America is racist and that the true people of the United States, the bread and butter of the United States, are the fat, white, rich people that live on their farms in the middle of the country, and that she hates everything about America, and we're just evil personified, basically.
Wait, farmers are rich?
Well, apparently to her little mind, yes, they are, because last I checked, they're really not.
I was going to say, all the farmers I know? I mean, there's like a few, but that's just because they have really big farms. There's only like one that I know. The rest of them struggle.
Okay, but are they fat?
The ones that I know personally, no, they're not. Mainly because they have to get up really early in the morning to milk their cows, and then they have to go to the fields if it's springtime. So they don't have a lot of time just to sit, relax, and eat junk food. They eat basically what they grow.
Oh, okay, but wait. Are they racist? Do they hate black people?
Tell you honest truth, the ones that I know, we don't really talk about race that much, mainly because they're mainly too busy talking about, hey, this is what's going on in town, and this is what's happening with my crops, and this is what's happening with my animals, and hey, my kid is doing really good in sports.
Hey, so two things. Number one, you need to take them to Starbucks because apparently they need to have a conversation about race. And number two, I think Azealia Banks might be confused. She might need to meet some farmers because
Okay, I'm just sitting there laughing. I know my farmers. They go to the same coffee shop every day. They get unlimited coffee for $1. It's black coffee. They might put some sugar in it. That's their time just to sit and relax for the day before they have to go back and do all their chores again.
Well, see,
I can't pay $5 for a cup of coffee.
Oh my gosh! I just thought of the best idea ever. I think one of the farmers that you know should invite Miss Banks to come and work on their farm for a day.
Oh my goodness! Could you imagine? And it should be not during harvest season. No.
No, because that's too much.
That's too hot. That's just too hot.
It's too much for her. For her frail little frame. No.
Right. No, it should be during the planting season.
There you go. And yeah,
because it's a little bit cooler.
She should go. because
Yeah,
she learned.
oh yeah, and it will give her a really good workout so she doesn't have to worry about becoming fat because there's a lot of bending involved, a lot
I
of
understand you
reaching.
carry a lot of heavy things.
Yeah, oh yeah, so you get your strength and your cardio and a
Right.
little bit of yoga in there, maybe some Pilates. So it's a really great workout. Oh yeah. And
And
plus,
the farmers that I've known have eaten pretty much all organic.
yeah, I mean,
So, I mean, I don't really see the problem here. She should probably do that. But if she doesn't, then she should probably. Okay, I'm gonna segue. You're gonna love this segue. You're just gonna die. If she doesn't love America, which apparently she hates America, she should move to Cuba, and she should move in with. I'm getting her name. Hold on. Asada Shakur.
okay, whoever that is. By the
Oh
way, her
no,
faces
no,
look really white.
I know. We really need to know who Asada Shakur is.
Yes, who is she?
So this segues into our last story, which I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to like super fast on. So the UC Berkeley has an association called the Black Student Union. Imagine if they had a white student union. But anyway, moving on. So they have a Black Student Union, and the Black Student Union has issued a list of demands, I guess, to the university about what should be done to improve race relations on campus. One of the things that they are proposing is that they name a building after Asada Shakur. Now, let me explain who this woman is. She was the first female leader of the Black Panthers.
Oh.
Wait, it gets better. She got pulled over in New Jersey. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, officer, that I was going over the speed limit, here's my license and registration, she shot and killed him.
Oh.
And
She
then,
sounds like a delightful woman.
oh wait, it gets better. And then, instead of turning herself in, she fled to Cuba, where she's been living for like 35 years. No lie. And the Black Student Union of UC Berkeley would like to name a building after her.
Well, yeah, because she sounds like a lovely woman, and I can see why people who spend that amount of money to go to a college would want to go to a building that has her name on it because she sounds like a very honorable person. I
So
guess.
I have a question. I have a question.
Good, because
Wait. So what if the UC Berkeley had an organization called the White Student Union? I know that they won't because racism, but what if they did? And what if, just for argument's sake, because I like to fan the flames, what if they demanded that a building be named after Darren Wilson?
oh my, that would be awesome. I honestly thought you were going to say like David Duke or something.
No, I'm going Darren Wilson.
Now I kind of want to donate money for that cause.
Right?
I want to start a GoFundMe account for that.
We're so getting in trouble. We're going to hell. Anyway.
Okay, hey, people who watch this all the way to the end, because we have like a minute left. If you think that we should do that kind of thing, let us know. Honestly, give us feedback on that, because we totally would, just because we can, because it's still a semi-free country, because that's hilarious.
I think it would be funny as hell. But the See, I find it interesting that we can have a black caucus in our Congress. We can have a black student union. We can have the Black Panthers. But you trade any of the black that I talked about there with white, and we go into hysterics about it. Black pride is okay, but white pride is not. I don't understand. Yeah. I'm really proud of my Scottish heritage. There's not very many black Scottish people. I just would like to say.
I understand. I'm Dutch and Danish.
Right?
Here's the thing, people. You want to know why we're so white? Because in the Northern Europe, we don't get a lot of sun up there. Our ancestors were not allowed to get any melanin going on in their skin. But yet,
well, and when we did get sun, we had like cold weather. Who wants to be outside in that?
Exactly. I mean, it's called logic, people. Look into it. Okay, we really need to wrap up because we're over.
I know, we're totally over, and we totally forgot to talk about the Azalea Banks and Wayne Dupree thing. So, by the way, viewers, go ahead and look at the Azalea Banks and Wayne Dupree thing because she called him a really nasty name just hours after she told her Twitter followers not to call people names because it was quote-unquote tired.
Exactly. Twitchy caught it all. Just go there. Wayne Dupree dropped the mic on it. Boom.
He did it. He was awesome. He was great. So anyway, do you have one more thing, Sparkles?
No. In all honesty, when I first saw the Race Together thing, I thought they really wanted more people to start running because we're health conscious in this country, and I wasn't looking forward to that. And then I found out it was more about talking about race relations. I was even more disappointed. So, but if you have anything that you want to disagree with me on, you can find me on Twitter at BeautiflyWings.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Okay, so the Race Together made me think of racing as well. I was like, oh, racing, yay. And then I started thinking about Sean Astin, who I just heart and who has actually interacted with me, and that was just like crazy. But he's doing a couple marathons, namely, which is the Boston Marathon. If you go to #MR8, go ahead and look that up and try to donate if you can. It's a really good cause. It's for a kid named Michael who was 8 years old, and he was actually killed in the Boston Marathon bombings. And Sean Astin is running for him. So if you can find him on Facebook and find his donation page, I strongly recommend, even if you can give $1, $5, do it. Because they've raised $40,000 already for the foundation that the family has put together for the son. So do it. Anyway, that's me. Oh, and if you don't like me, go ahead and find me on Twitter at IndubGirlism. Find me on Facebook at May Dames. Find me at Facebook if you know my real name. Ha ha! Good luck.
All right. See you next time, people. Bye.
Bye.